From the minds of motivation, sitting in positive vibration. Star supporters, true soldiers, earth fighters. Deep down in my spirit, unite. Alright guys, what's up? It's your boy BTN, Break the News to the Coder, and we're back with another video. And yes, I might be dropping another one today or tomorrow, who knows, but today I'm feeling like I want to drop a video. So, let's get into it. Let's talk about duality. Okay, let's talk about evil and good, and let's talk about that perception. Okay, because I want to explain to you guys how television, which is tell your vision to reprogram, deprogram, or whatever, to change your subconscious ways of thinking, your behavior patterns. I want to tell you how that is has been used as a confusing concept to make you believe that everything that is perceived as good is a light and is good, and everything that's perceived as bad is bad. Now, let me explain to you how these things were used. These concepts were used to mind fuck the youth, mind fuck the people, and basically switch our brains out and make us think other ways of wise and concepts and ideologies, and battle each other over religion and race and gangs and shit like that. This goes deep on a higher spiritual level. This goes from the higher esoteric knowledge to scenario, situation, outcome, and scenario. Input, output, computer system, program, matrix, all that good shit. Let's get into it. Now, we have a lot of colors, right? I want to get into some important colors that is a part of your psychological mind frame that explains why you think the certain ways you think. So you have black, which is darkness, and you have white, which is light, okay? Now, let's get into the racial connotation behind this. And I'm not gonna get racist or racial with this, but I'm gonna tie everything back to one another. So you have white representing pure light, pure, right? And you have darkness representing disgusting, dirty, all that stuff, right? Now that was the racist connotation of how things supposed to look. Now, racism was used they used coloring, which is black and white, darkness and light, coloring as a racist connotation for black people to not associate with themselves as the original people, okay? And I use that to make white people feel more superior for scenario and situation of darkness and light. Now let's get into the spiritual side of darkness, dark and light, okay? Energies. So now, we use the racial understanding. Yeah, let's use the spiritual understanding. You have darkness and light. And we're gonna put this in a heroic understanding. So when you watch hero movies, right, you always see the hero is the good guy, and the villain is always the bad guy. And these movies have always been created by Marvels and DC and all types of different comic companies, right, and movie companies that's all about heroes. Now let's understand this: the heroes are always presented in positive light, and the villains are always presented in darkness and evilness, okay? How is this misleading? Because it puts you in a delusional mind state to pick a side between two parties. You know what I'm saying? It's all about picking a side. So once you pick a side, you don't have free will of thinking or open-minded ways of thinking. So now you're gonna pick. Let's say you pick Superman, and let's say you hate Lex Luthor or whatever. Okay, by you picking Superman and hating Lex Luthor, you don't even understand that this whole concept was directed for your brain to pick a side between two opposite forces. Now, let's understand the concept of light and darkness, because we always understand what's a hero and what's a villain. So we got to question why every time you see a movie film, the hero is always in a good light, and the villain's always in a bad light. And why is every time, I'm gonna give you examples. Luke Skywalker, he's in the light, he's in the good light. Jesus, he's in the good light. Superman, he's in the good lights. Who else is a good hero, a good like figure that's in some good light? I don't know no more figures. But you have a lot of good representatives that are presented in good lights. You have a lot of villains that are in darkness and bad light, right? Now, the perception of good and evil is a perception. How you feel about things, how you think about those things, how they carry themselves. It's a philosophy. Okay, the bad guy or so-called bad guy may have a certain philosophy to go by and was raised different. So that bad guy might be perceived, or you might see that as a bad guy because of the way they're raised up and doing things. The same way you might see a good light being or a light motherfucker raised different in a different environment, and they're being good people based off their environment. How does this relate? Because we always want to attack the villain, or we always want to praise the hero, but we're not understanding the backgrounds that these people come from to build their makeup. Not only that, but who is narrating this movie is creating your psychological mind frame. They're creating how you see things. Television, right? They're directing your vision toward what they want you to see based off their perception of what's good and evil. So let's understand, the movies are telling you to pick a side so they can direct your vision on what to follow, because they already created the movie. They already know who's going to win and who's going to defeat who. They just need you to decide who to pick, so you can fall in that trap of making an egotistical decision. Now, let's go from this heroic definition or understanding to a spiritual understanding. Now I'm finna blow y'all minds. The chessboard is black and white because black and white represents duality, okay? Referees wear black and white because that represents opposition, duality, right? So let's get more into a deeper understanding. Darkness is always perceived as bad, and white or light is always perceived as good. We're not talking about racial connotations this time. We're talking about spiritual connotations. Now let's get deeper. What is your spirit? What color is your spirit? Your spirit is darkness. It's black. It comes from the universe. So your spirit is darkness. Okay? What's light? Light is consciousness, awareness, desires, your star, okay? Whatever you are a star at, you glow at, whatever you create, that's your star, your light, okay? So why is this important? Well, you have darkness and light. They told you light represents good, consciousness, awareness, good, hero. And darkness represents villain, mad, aggressive, villain, evil, satanic. Now, let's get into the deeper understandings. Why would they tell you light or the lightness is better than the darkness when we always say in your darkest times you become your greatest character? Why do they say that? Why do they say whatever is in the dark shall come to the light? Or why do they say you have to get to your darkest hours or your darkest life to get to your light? Because these concepts come from spiritual growth. You get spiritually stronger when you're in the darkness. And once you start walking into the light, you start becoming more aware of what you wasn't aware of at first. So what does that tell you? When you are a spirit, you're trying to understand your darkness. You try to understand why you act certain ways, why you do certain things, and why you go through certain events in your life and certain scenario situations. That's your darkness, because you're trying to understand all the hidden energy within your darkness, your spirit. You're trying to understand your spirit. So now when you enter that light, you becoming aware of your spirit and why you here and why you act certain ways and why you doing what you're doing. Now you enter your star, your light, your awareness. Why is this important? Because they will tell you something like light is good and darkness is bad. They're basically telling you that consciousness comes first and spiritual progression comes last. Or they're telling you light is a hero and darkness is a villain. And they're telling you that everybody's a good soul at first, a good spirit, until they get corrupted by an evil spirit. That's false. That is a false ideology. Because nobody come out the womb purely just good. Everybody has imperfections and flaws. Every spirit has an imperfection and a flaw. Nobody is a hero until they become their greatest version, which is their star system, their solar, right? So they're teaching you guys at a young age that you have to look for good people, so-called good people with suits on. You have to look for good energy, or you have to always look for hero-like mentality or hero personality type people. And those that are villain personalities, like those that are negative, they're perceived as bad, negative, evil people, dark people. And those that are good energy people, positive, those are perceived as heroes and they're good people. What does this do for people? This creates judgment. This creates ego. This creates division, right? Because they're teaching you the concept of light is the hero. You come off, you're born as a hero, and then you meet the villain and become dark. No, that's not true. You come from your darkness because your darkness represents your spirit, and you understanding your spirit and trying to get to that light. So once you get to your light, you evolve into your greatest version of your star system. That's the truth. They don't want you to know that light represents, darkness represents your spiritual progression, your spirit or your spiritual progression, and light represents your consciousness. So really what it's saying is your spirit had to learn to become consciously aware of your existence, your existence, right? Of who you are. That's why people have identity crisis. They're trying to find themselves. They're trying to find the light, the desires. Now let's tie this into religion. Now this is how religious people get caught up in the Luciferian light. This is how they get caught up in it. They think that everything that shines bright and that's light is God-given great, right? Okay? They think everything that shines bright is light is good. Everything that's darkness is bad. So what does this do is this. That's how you get pastors taking all your money because you think they're good people. That's how you get all these politicians that's looking all good, looking out like angels, but they're taking all your money and they messing the world up. That's how you get people like all these evil, corrupt motherfuckers in this earth. Because y'all believing that these motherfuckers is light figures, and y'all trying to seek some awareness, but every piece of awareness isn't good awareness. All awareness isn't good awareness. You can be aware of something. You can be aware of something, but you can be getting caught up in the wrong light. You can be in a demonic. You can have a demon possessing you, not even knowing it. You can have a demon possessing you with their light, their awareness, trying to brainwash you to do some murderous shit, and you thinking it's cool, or it's like the light, it's the angel talking to me, but really it's the devil talking to you. But you don't know it because you're too busy trying to find different lights to be caught up in. This is why you don't lose yourself in this world, because your spirit is your darkness, and your star, your consciousness is your light. You have to start from the beginning to get to the end to find that light. You can't just get your sun. You have to go through the night to see the sun in the morning. You can't just get to the sun, right? It takes time. You got to go to sleep. You got to get that rest in. Then wake up and the sun come out. It's all universal, guys. They flipped y'all minds around to think that it's all about good versus evil. There is no such thing as good versus evil. That's a concept, a social constructed concept developed for the ego mind to make you believe there's good and evil. Now, I'm not saying there's not good and evil to an extent. Now, I'm not saying there are no bad people doing bad things in this world and stuff like that. But I'm talking about as utilizing it. Like taking that good and evil, making people go against each other based off of different ideologies. I'm talking about that as an ideology perspective. I'm not talking about it as in reality, like people killing people, that's evil, or rape, that's evil. I'm talking about it as in a control perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about controlling the perspective of duality. when you can control a good and a bad, you can make somebody else look good and make somebody else look bad. You can make a whole crowd of people disagree with this one person because you have so much power to control the evil and good perspective. That's what you call mastermind. It's when you can control a concept that you created for people to follow. If I put a hero in front of your face and tell you that hero is good and you're a child, you're gonna believe that hero is good for as long as you can remember. And if anybody tell you otherwise, you're gonna call them a villain because they told you that hero is actually not the hero that you thought it was, but that hero was a scumbag and was killing your family members. But you won't believe that because you're so busy programmed on the good, the light, the light, the light. Oh, the light. I love this light. This light is so beautiful. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. All awareness isn't good awareness. The Bible even says Satan comes in the form of light, an angel of light, which means you have people in this world that try to appear as light beings or try to appear as awareness, conscious awareness, but they're trying to manipulate you, control you, and demonically possess you because you don't know your own spirit. This is why you have to go through the darkness to get to the light, because your spirit is darkness and your light is your star. Once you understand those things, you will know how this world is ran. And with that being said, guys, I'm BTN, break the news, your decoder, and I'm finna be out, y'all. And please, guys, don't get remixed. It's your boy BTN. I love y'all niggas. Stay up, stay blessed. Stay positive, and I'm out. Peace.